Hello everyone, my name is Marcello Kolax and you are watching the weekly outlook for European energy markets, this time for the week starting 30th of October 2023. I'm the managing director at Clever Markets, a bespoke technical analysis research house where we do nothing but look at European energy markets. Okay, so this will be quite an interesting week. We did see that the TTF and the NBP have been moving in an increasingly tighter range, also called a pennant, and that usually leads to an explosive move higher. But we are not quite there yet. We need confirmation, we need to break out of it. So we will have an interesting weekend start into the week. Brent has not been doing much. I mean, the moves have been quite dramatic, but overall, we are not making any progress. We haven't made any new highs or lows for quite some time. Henry Hub looks like it has peaked out, but we are not quite there yet. We do need confirmation at the start of this week. Alright, without further delay, let's have a look at the first chart. And we first will have a look at the TTF front month, that is the Dutch natural gas hub, Europe's or probably the world's global reference hub by now. So let's start with a weekly chart. We are overall in a mid-term uptrend since we have resolved that ascending triangle to the upside. We are just now waiting for this range to be resolved on the daily chart. And there is not a lot of trading opportunities happening here on the intraday chart since price is being squeezed into an increasingly tighter range. All right, let's have a look at the details. We do see that the ascending triangle was resolved higher. So usually we do say that a resolution is valid if we close 3% above the range or the key level, or we do have two consecutive closes outside of it. So both is correct. We already went bullish with this strong green candle from 3 weeks ago. So where is the target? So usually for these patterns, what I like to do in line with the Clever Markets methodology is that we move in by measuring the target or the width of the ascending triangle, and we apply it to the breakout direction. Okay, this here is not the best tool. Let's use this. So this length here, essentially, yeah. We are not using the furthest out. We always move one in. That is in line with, textbook more or less. And we do see that the target here is at 72.6273, that sort of area. That is the overall target that was generated with the ascending triangle. We do see that we have the 200-day, 200-week exponential moving average right across us, right above us. So this is offering some strong resistance, as we can see here. So we first need to push above the 200-week exponential moving average before we can achieve the target near 72.73. Right now, in the near term, it does look like we have a pennant forming. So I'm just zooming out. So overall, we are in an ascending channel. So, and as long as we swing higher within it, the near-term outlook is bullish. That near-term outlook is defined as around like 3 weeks or something. So what we have here, the pennant, is more relevant for the intraday time frame. We remain bullish on this daily chart because the assumption still is that we will resolve higher. And for us, bullishness means, so if we switch our markets bullish, bearish, or neutral, for Clever Markets clients, it simply means we're looking for buying opportunities still. So this here is a textbook pennant. We do have a very strong flagpole, essentially. Yeah, we've got a few strong days. Now we have the pennant forming over a couple of weeks, and we do generate the target by measuring the size of the pennant and then just applying it to the eventual breakout direction, which would be somewhere in this area. So we do get a pennant target in the 68, 67, 69, 70, sort of that area. This level is not yet clear, the target, because we first need to resolve. So, of course, if we resolve here or resolve here, the target would change. But it is in this area. Overall, what are the tools saying? So we do see that the MACD has been swinging higher. Okay, that is good. We are still making higher highs and higher lows. So we are still favoring the bulls overall. But we do have a little bit of a dip. The MACD line dipped below its trigger line, which in itself can sometimes be seen as a bearish trigger, but not so much for us right now, because we do see that we have it occasionally, yeah, and we do get a little bit lower. But right now, we don't know if it's simply due to the pennant forming itself. That should cap the MACD as well. We do see that the stochastic, as expected, is not making any higher highs or higher lows. The range is way too tight to even profit from that. So right now, I do recommend that we are not taking any action on the markets. Well, if you can explain that to your trading manager, of course, that is. Because looking into the 15-minute chart, we do see, so we've got a pennant here. And yeah, maybe at the start we did have some really good trading opportunities. And you can see how the stochastic really helped us to capture the swings. But as we move into the pennant, the trading opportunities are smaller and smaller and smaller. And I am already on the 15-minute time frame. So in order for us to profit from any of these minor swings, we now would have to move into the 10-minute, 5-minute, maybe even 1-minute candlesticks. And that is where our human capacity kind of ends. This is where trading mistakes happen. The gains are marginal. The risk for loss is really high. So that's why the intraday time frame is neutral. I do not recommend looking for any trading opportunities here until we actually break past the pennant. Because a break past the pennant would first be visible on the intraday charts, which could then filter through to the daily chart. So let's have a look just for the fun of it, what the hourly chart is doing. So here the trading opportunities are even worse. Yeah. So yes, we might see a little bit of an increase from 51 to what is this 50? Oh god, from 51.01 to 51.8 or 7. So there's not much to be done here. So please do wait it out if you can. Of course, October is over, so the front month will switch very soon. So do expect a little bit of a gap. The gap usually is not caused by any sort of conviction. It's simply because the contract is rolling over. There's no way to avoid this. I mean, there's two ways of dealing with gaps. Yeah, so we can either choose not to adjust the time frames. Sorry, not to adjust the charts. That would mean we do have a gap, but at least the price levels are the same. But maybe the trajectory might be distorted. Or we can eliminate the gap, but then the price levels, so like 45, 50, 60, they would be distorted. And I prefer working with the correct price levels, and I am okay with this gap if we know how to deal with it. So usually the gap appearing is not a sign of any sort of like trend conviction. All right. In summary, midterm bullish. We got an ascending triangle target. Pennant usually resolves to the upside as well. We got a bullish target as well. However, right now, I would not be trading anything intraday because of the narrowing range. Okay, and that was it for the TTF front month. Before we move over to the next contract, I have a little favor to ask. If you find any of this useful, then please consider sharing it with your colleagues if you think they would get something out of it as well. Would really mean a lot to me. I'm just trying to spread some knowledge here, and if you want to learn more, go to clevermarkets.com. All right, now let's go on with the contracts. And now we're going to have a quick look at Brent crude front month. What a week. Okay, so the markets all across the bench are neutral. Neutral means we are trying to stay away from the market a little bit, and there's not too much happening right now. We are waiting for a good setup. So we do see that on the weekly chart, we did break below the channel so we did break above the rectangle months ago. And then over the past couple of weeks, we did push back in, and now we are a little bit in no man's land. We're all wondering what's going to happen next. We do have a hanging man forming here, but we'll go into that in just a second. On the daily chart, it looks like this. Here, this is the channel. Yeah, this is this channel. We broke lower, we retested, and now also we have a red, a green, a red, and a green candle from last week. any sort of progress that is made in the one direction is immediately undone the following day. So what does that look like on the intraday chart? Here we have the 15 minutes. Well, we do see that we get some pretty clean setups here for some intraday swing trading, but the boundaries are not as clear, so trading can be treacherous. Let's have a look into the details. So we do see that after the break higher, we did get a very convincing red candle, and just below the very psychologically important 100 level. So we didn't quite make it, but we did make it to 97.69. Now, we are, as long as we are not making lower lows or higher highs, we are in neutral territory. We did see this candle happening here, and the question is, okay, so what is this? Because if we have a preceding downtrend, then this candle would be called a hammer, and that would usually bring gains. If you have a preceding uptrend, then we would call this candle a shooting star, sorry, a hanging man, and that would usually bring losses if it is confirmed by tools. But here we are in the middle of nowhere. So what is this? Well, it is nothing, because whether it's a hammer or a hanging man, we want to see some pronounced peak or trough in order to get any sort of like reversal signal from it. Just looking at this now, we do see that for the longest time, as the uptrend was intact, we did have swings, higher highs and higher lows on the stochastic and also other oscillators. We did get a bullish signal on the MACD, but since we have topped out, we started making our first lower highs and lower lows. Same on the MACD. Yeah, we also looked as if we topped out. So that's why we are neutral. We are kind of sitting it out. We are waiting for the market to develop. Looking into to the daily chart, we do see that, okay, after the strong break lower, we had a retest for like over a week. We did try to break back into the channel. We didn't quite make it. And last week was just a disaster for anyone looking to establish or to jump in on a trend, because like any loss or gain was immediately undone the next day. So here we are also neutral as long as we are not making new highs or new lows. Okay. Let's have a look on what that means for the intraday charts. So here's the 15 minutes, but I'll go into the hourly first. And here we can see that, oh, actually, we do have some pretty clear swings. So yeah, there is still some trading opportunities on the intraday charts, but the ranges, also as they are listed on the Clever Markets report, they are not very clear. So these are like very porous, thick resistance and support ranges. Because support and resistance in general is never just a straight line. So it's never just one level. It comes in areas. So here, this area is, for example, really thick. So some traders might be looking at this level for support. Other traders might be looking for this level for support. Some others might be looking for this level of support. Yeah. Same for the range resistance. Some might be looking here, others are looking at this. Then we have other traders looking at this level or maybe here. We can see these areas are really thick. They are penetrated occasionally. So this is dangerous because we are not really getting any like clear boundaries, which makes swing trading intraday a little bit more tricky. So for that, we are looking at oscillators to make use of these swings to anticipate when we might get the swings. And even here, it is a little bit dangerous right now, at least with my favorite stochastic. So it sometimes makes more sense to look at the CCI. So here we have the more gradual swings, so it does take a little bit longer. Yes, you can use the CCI on the intraday chart, absolutely no problem. And here the key levels are plus 100 and minus 100, and it is treated exactly as any other oscillator. Yeah, below, as soon as we move below 100, we are looking for selling opportunities, and as we are below minus 100 and you're moving above it, then you're looking for buying opportunities. So we have these swings here. The zero line is also very important because usually once you make it to the one end, we very likely make it all the way to 100. So a break above 100, as we have it here, zoop, would usually lead to the other end as well. So we do get different signals, yeah, from these from this tool, although it's a oscillator as well. So choose a little bit of a slower one. Maybe stochastic is not all that good right now. So now, as we are in this really thick support and resistance area, we don't really get any good triggers as to when we actually resolve it. So here we really would have to look for higher highs and higher lows, or lower lows and lower highs to get a trend going. Yeah, there's no one clear line, but as long as we are within this wide range and with the thick boundaries, we can get some trading going. And that is it for Brent. And that's it for this week's Outlook. If you found that useful, then please consider sharing it with your network. My name is still Marcello Colax. You can find me on LinkedIn. I am very active there. Every single day I post my thoughts on the European energy markets there. So do give me a follow, connect with me, and check out what else we have to offer at clevermarkets.com. Thank you very much and see you around.